Well, hello there, Story, Waxhaw United Methodist Church. We're so happy to have you here tonight. I want to give this message to you as an encouragement. I want it to be with you as you go on in your life. And the most important thing I would believe to say is that God is with you. Do not forget that. Right now there's confusing times. There's a lot going on. One of the confusing things you might be asking is, what am I doing in this room? Where am I on the stage? Well, I thought maybe since we're doing a little bit of a unorthodox thing, well, we just are figuring out that might as well coming from a living room type setting. Of course, this is not a living room. This is actually the Sunday school class that I grew up in, going middle school and high school. I think many of us are afraid of improving. Now, most of us want to be the best that we can be. Most of us want to keep moving forward. But in this series, Let's Get Unstuck, we're going to be unraveling why we are stuck, where we are stuck, and how we can get unstuck. So let's just go ahead and take it up with God and let's pray. Dear God, thank you for tonight. Thank you that we can be together. Thank you for your almighty presence, Lord. Be with us tonight as your Spirit moves among us, as we cry out your name, that you are with us. You are another in the fire. You are holding back the seas. Lord, thank you for your blessings in our lives. Thank you. And God, I pray that we can see what you want us to see in our own lives. Help us take inventory where we are. Lord, thank you. In your name, amen. So I believe that one of the biggest things that we get stuck in is communicating but not connecting. Now, there might be some sort of distinction, but the thing is that when we communicate, we communicate. When we connect, we want to connect. But you have to use the two hand in hand. You see, the thing is in marriages, somebody will come up at the very beginning, they'll say, what is the best thing about your significant other? If 40% of the marriages in America end, why is yours the one that will last? And one of the number one things they always say is, because I feel like I can talk to him. I feel like I can trust her. I feel like they care what I'm saying. Sometimes it could be 10, 11 years later, and you hear the same thing except the opposite. The question gets asked, what's the problem? I don't think I can talk to him. I don't think she cares about what I'm saying. I don't think he is vulnerable with me. So I believe the very first thing that we need to take a look at is James 1:19-20. So then, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath, for the wrath of man does not produce the righteousness of God. I think one of the things that we need to make sure that we are being smart of is that we can create a right climate. I think it's something that we need to all take into consideration, is how can we bring our relationship to the right climate. Now, I'm not talking about just people being married. I'm talking about those friends at work. I'm talking about those people who you interact with regularly. Maybe the people who you don't interact with. How can you connect? Because the biggest deal that you can be in your own life is to be invested in someone. You've seen the movies. You've had that loved one. You know how it is when that connection is made. And that's something we all desperately want. We want to connect with people. We are humans, even in this time where we are stuck in our homes. What are we wanting to do? We are wanting to get together. We are wanting a friend, at least. Even the most introverted people are missing someone. So I believe it's very important that we can create the right climate. trust and respect is the right climate. I want to know when I'm talking to somebody that I can trust them. The common fear. Say that you are in a relationship. Maybe you say something, maybe you're vulnerable, but then they turn around and say all of your dirty laundry to someone else. Well, how do you trust them? How can you do that? Respect. Say you disagree on something. What are your friends' actions towards what you say to them? First of all, do you trust them? Do they respect you? Do they treat you like you have a sense in you? That you have a brain? A lot of times, that is the basis of what our problems go in our relationships, our friendships, our boyfriends, our girlfriends, our wives, our husbands. Is creating the right climate. I want to leave you with another thing. In many countries around the equator, Mexico, Jamaica, many others, there's banana trees. I'm sure as many of you have seen. And those banana trees grow, and I'm sure there are many techniques that it takes to grow. But say you go up to the north in America, and you go to Boston, Massachusetts. How many banana trees do you see there? You don't see any. That is because the right climate. That's not saying that northerners aren't smart enough to learn how to plant banana trees. It's the fact that it's not the right climate. I'm not telling you that there's a certain set of techniques and rules that you can follow to become a better friend or a partner. But I am saying trust and respect can lead to what can actually build on a solid foundation of having true connection. I would also like to say, as another point, you must really hear the other person. Think about it. What is step number one to connecting with people? I know a lot of you are saying, well, I need to be vulnerable with them. I need to tell them my problems. Number one is you need to listen. Number one, listen to their needs, their problems. Many times you find yourself wanting to put your opinion, show your word out, say what's going on in your life. And there is something going on in your life. There's something going on in everyone's lives. And it may be bad, but it may be good. But you want to be quick to listen. You want to be quick. He says, hurry up and listen. That's what James says. Hurry up and listen. It is your time to listen. And that is how you connect. Jesus says, to be the greatest of these, you need to be the least of these. Your friends, you might want to be the biggest, the best, but you don't need to be. God calls us to be the least. And that is what truly connects us to people, is to be able to listen. Sometimes whenever a husband or wife, say a husband comes home to his wife, and his wife says, oh, I'm having such a problem with this kid. And then that husband says, okay, I got you, honey. And then he goes all the way up and he says that he's going to straighten this kid out. He's going to give him a firm talking to. But he didn't listen. He didn't be quick to listen to what she had to say. What if the problem with the kid wasn't, maybe she didn't need someone to give immediate results. Maybe she wanted someone to listen. Oh man, honey, that's a hard day. I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that. There's so many things that people want to hear. Sometimes maybe they just want to hear how you respond to them. Isn't that kind of how we are? We want people, and you connect with people by how you can listen to them, how you can understand their reaction, how you can listen and react the way that you want them to. That's pretty common. But sometimes we want to give immediate results to our friend, so we don't even listen to the rest. We feel like we know them already. Well, here's the thing. We are all a work in progress. You can't be so sure that everything is going to be the same 100% of the time. Maybe she wanted to just hear, wow, that's tough, but I heard how you handled that, and I'm thinking, wow, that was the perfect way of doing it. That was the best way of doing it. I would also encourage you, be slow to speak. It says, be quick to listen, but be slow to speak. Whenever we have to be slow to speak, we have to push down our urges to respond. We have to hold back our things of denial, our retaliation. We need to hold back our problems. Hold back. What am I meaning by saying that? I'm saying, oh, no, I didn't do that. Why would you think that? Or, yeah, okay, I did it. You rationalize. Yeah, okay, I did it. What? So what? Okay, there, I did this, and I've done this, and I've done that, and I've done that, and there's no reason why you should be thinking this about me. Or retaliation. Yeah, I did it. But this is what you've done. And I could be pulling this out of my back pocket, but you do it so much, and guess who doesn't? I don't bring it out. But you know what? Since you have, I am going to keep talking about this and hold this over your head. Yeah, if this is a competition, if you want to make it a competition, I will win. We get caught in that. How can we combat that? Slow to speak. You need to be quick to listen and slow to speak. Think for a second where you are, who you're talking to. You need to decide, is your perspective, your opinion greater than this connection, than this best friend, than this wife, than this husband, than this boyfriend, this girlfriend? You have to think about what really matters for you. Think about it even selfishly. What is more important to you? And you have to really ask yourself that. And then that leads us back to the whole first point of creating the right climate. If it does not make you fearful that you will lose that person, and that you are more focused on getting your opinion, that getting your way, then you are not in the right climate, and you need to work on that climate. I'd also like to say, be slow to become angry. Ephesians 4:15 says this. It says, but speaking the truth in love may grow up in all things into Him who is head, Christ. How can you get respect? How can you be someone that people look up to? Number one is speaking in love. Holding back your anger. Holding back your problems. Because there is a higher power there. And here I'm making a plea. I'm making a plea for Christ in this. And listen. But speaking the truth in love may grow in all things into Him who is the head. He's talking, if you want to be a leader and you want to follow Christ, number one is to speak in love. Be slow to anger. Do not let your first reaction be your reaction. It's not like a test. A lot of times people in school would tell you, oh, you need to go with your first answer. It's not the same. Speak the truth is my last thing I want to say. Well, Mr. John came home from the store and he said, well, I'll tell you what, the house isn't clean and I can't stand that I have to deal with all this, and why aren't you, I mean, you're here all the time, why can't you get everything ready for me? And Miss Jill says, well, you know what, if you would actually help sometime, you know, I'm actually busy because I got kids and I'm having to parent them and feed them and then feed you and do all these things. And you are always going to be complaining about every single thing I do. It would be nice if you could show me some support. Well, they both showed truth, right? Wrong. Speak deep truth. Here's an example. Somebody come home, another husband comes home, and his wife says, honey, it's been 4 nights in a row now. Our kids don't even know you right now because you're always at work. They never get to see you. They never get to be around their father, and I hate it. I wish that you would just quit your job. But you know what? You can't. You want to know why? Because you are closer to that job than you are with any of us. Right? She spoke her truth, right? And then the husband says, well, you know what? I work all the time. I provide for this family. I am able to go to all these different, I'm able to provide for all these different things that our kids do, and I hate it that I am not being there with them. But you know what? If you could just show me some appreciation, that would be nice. But the thing is that they were not, neither of them were not truthful. They were not truthful with each other. Here is what speaking real truth is like. He walks in. She says, honey, it's been 4 nights in a row. Our kids don't get to see you. They have a small relationship with you. And I hate that. You're such a good man. You're so kind and loving. I just am so sad that I can never get to see you and we can't be together. And then he says, I hate that I'm never here either. I just want to be there for the kids. I just want to be there with you. But this job, I don't know how to do it where it takes less time. I'm putting so much into it. I don't know how to, and I want to. But I love you, and I want to do my best. I'm trying my best for the family. Now, there was not a solution that was made in that conversation. But they're connected. They're on the same page. They don't like where this is at, and they are together. See, right now, we are building relationships whether we know it or not. The question is, how will you connect? How will you get unstuck in our big trap that we have where we get caught just communicating and not being vulnerable, not speaking truth, not holding our anger, not listening? Where did we go wrong? We all do. None of us are perfect. Many of us speak in 2 different ways. Many of us speak in either off of experiences of success or experiences of failure. And I, my friends, am speaking of experiences of failure. But the thing is, though, is we're all in this together. How can we connect with each other? How can we be one with another? How can we be a better spouse? How can we be a better friend? How can we be a better churchgoer? Yeah. Christ poured his life out for us. And now he gives us the ability that we can connect with people and show that love of Christ throughout the world. And that's not just saying you have to be all over the world. You can be with your friend, a true friend, one that speaks truth, listens, speaks slowly, listens quickly. You can be a light along the way. And I don't want you to be discouraged, because the thing is, you have so much potential. Whenever God created us in the beginning, he said we were very good. Now, I know a lot of theologians will look at the term good, and yes, true, none of us are actually good in our own being. God is good. But he was very pleased with his creation. He is very pleased with you. He loves every single one of you, and he wants to connect with you. When you read his word, when you listen slowly, when you speak slowly, when you are slow to speak, when you're slow to answer, and you speak in deep truth, that is how you can truly connect. God bless you and be with you this week as you can connect with one another. Take these 4 simple steps. Create the right climate. Work on your truth, your trust, and your respect. Then speak slowly. Listen quickly. Speak slowly. Hone your anger and speak the truth. A real, deep, passionate truth. You have an ability to connect like no other life form in the universe. And God gave you that. So I encourage you to use it and try to see how you can enhance it. And set small goals. You can't eat a whole elephant at once. You have to eat it in small little bites. Try this tonight. Why don't you share a moment with a friend? And if that's your best friend, that's your best friend. If that's your spouse, that's your spouse. I encourage you. Be in conversation and see if you guys can connect. We love you. We're praying for you. Have a great week.